3, 2, 1, good.
Hello and welcome to Cars and Vets. We're here for episode 2 with John Boone. Again, my name is Kenneth A. This is Lando Ortega.
Ortega.
Oh, shit.
I'm extra masculine today.
Let's start that shit over.
I am Orlando. No, you keep going.
God
this is
damn it.
great.
All right.
Great.
Lando
intro.
Ortega. You messed me up with that one crap.
Ortego. Remember that.
Yeah.
Ortega.
Juan Ortego.
My name is Juan Felipe Vicente Bojone.
Yeah.
Anyway, so welcome. We got a good show for you guys here today. So why don't we start off with introductions? Go ahead and introduce yourself, John.
Hi, 6 foot 18, right? From Southern California. Last time I was on Black Leather.
You're
this
not
was
from
the couch.
Southern California.
Name's John. I'm a dude, human being on Earth.
Yeah.
Serving
Better
in the
known
Army
as
for a little
Boone.
while. Yeah, a lot of people call me Boone.
Yeah.
With an accent.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So how long, when did you join?
2005.
Okay.
17.
Right on.
Yeah, I had a whole lot going for me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you mean by like not a whole lot going for you? Because I know a little bit of story. But
Yeah. No, I was a troublemaker. I was a good kid. My parents loved me. They definitely weren't stressing out and getting early gray hair. So the judge had a chat with me one time. Was like, "Hey, I see you again. You know, guess what? Gloves off." And I was like, "I know how to get out of this.
Yeah.
Let's go get yelled at." So that's what I did.
That's
fair enough.
And what did you do? Like what MOS were you in?
I was 25 Sierra.
And that is?
Top of the list, baby.
Yeah.
Satcom.
Satcom.
Yeah. Tell me how it gets higher than that. Also, a nerd. No,
That's how it gets hired. And I'm
not
I'm not gonna have any opinions on
blasted,
this.
but I'm saying like satellites. It's
Oh, okay.
pretty- yeah, I'm physically.
Wow.
Yeah.
Way to break out with a dad joke. It's a little early for dad jokes, dude.
So, John Boone, he came here to get like a little bit of work on a vet about 18 years ago, and we're still working on it.
Yeah, just a
Something like that, right?
tiny little thing I wanted, just a small modification to the heads. And this guy that I know, Michelle, he just fucking went to town on it. I blame him.
Michel.
Michelle.
He's French.
Yeah. But yeah, he had a issue with that. We went to put a head gasket on. It was like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking, no, my bad.
It doesn't matter. You can say
The
whatever.
coolant passage was cracked.
Yeah.
And it was leaking into the head stud hole.
Yeah.
So every time I'd sit there and I'd dip a rag in it and air dry it out, put the gasket on, try and seat the heads again, I'd look down there and there'd be more coolant in it. So,
Yeah. I thought it was just like...
That's a problem.
Yeah, because I went over there and I was like, Michael, did you
Minor.
clean the holes? He's like, dude, yes, I cleaned the holes. And I was like, great. And
Which is rare
that's
for
when you
him.
started getting PTSD from my phone calls.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, hey, we need to talk about something here.
Yep. And now every time he calls me, I like sit down, clear the room. I'm like, fuck, man, everybody get away from me.
Keep
Do a
sharp
couple of
objects
woosahs.
away.
This is going to be a good phone call.
Exactly.
But what do you have? What car you have? I mean, I know what you have, but
Yeah.
what do you have?
Do you? It's a 2000 Corvette. C5 Corvette with a supercharger on it. It's V3 Ti.
Yeah.
So, and then
It's a Vortec unit, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Throwing on a water meth kit from Alky Meth, forced internals from good old Summit Racing
Good
with
old
a
Summit.
L33 5.3 aluminum block swap.
Yeah. What's your goal with the car? Like, what do you want to do with it?
I want to keep telling people I'm going to track it, right? And then just hurt people's feelings on the road, most likely 99% of the time.
Yeah.
I'd probably track it 1-2 times after spending way too much money to get it ready for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the right car to do it, though.
Oh, yeah, for
I had a
sure.
C5. We were talking about it, and the C5 is just such a good platform, Like, it's like it's on rails kind of deal, you know?
Right.
That's why I see them out there a lot. Like,
They're big go-karts.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're this
And they
big.
have pop-ups.
Yeah.
So,
As a kid born in the 80s, anything with pop-ups is better
Exactly.
Yeah.
than if it doesn't have pop-ups.
I can say aerodynamics.
It is so
That,
cool,
but
though.
really, yeah.
It is so cool.
Pop-ups
And, like,
are so rad.
mine was I don't remember what year mine was, like a 02 or something like that. Yeah, and I remember just that little blink and the lights would come up. I was just like, man, this is the coolest thing, you know?
I remember like the first 240 that I had, I put like a little like switch into it. So when I would turn the lights on, they wouldn't pop up. They would just turn on, and I'd have to hit the switch, and they would come up slowly, so I could adjust how high it was, so you can get that sleepy-eyed look. And then you could flip it really fast, and it would just
Yeah.
It would just
I
go
don't like
over
the
that.
sleepy stuff. I don't know. I see too many drift cars with the sleepy stuff.
Yeah.
And then they put like the X on the light for tape, and I'm just like,
Well, there's actually a motorsport reason behind putting
Right,
it.
because when they crack.
Yeah. If you
The-
crash them,
the X on them?
if you crash them or if you hit something, that tape is supposed to keep the glass from flying off and going
Oh, okay.
everywhere.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
actually.
because it'll bust, your lamp and everything like
Yeah,
that.
that's
if it
I didn't know
comes
that.
apart,
Yeah. I mean, that's what it originally started out as.
And then
Now it's-
it
and then
became
now
the
it's just-
banana bumpers thing for the Chargers and Hellcats and stuff.
Oh, you're talking about the bump guards?
The bump guard.
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
Jesus Christ.
That's like keeping the tag on your hat, Remember that?
God, man, I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I did that. I'm not gonna lie.
You were that
Ah,
guy?
you-
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
used to
makes
buy like
sense.
the what is it called? What were they? The Under Armours? No, I don't remember what it was.
Flat bills.
No, there was
No,
like
Flat Bill's
the
the
New
style.
Eras, right? It was
I
like
wasn't
New
that
Era.
I don't know.
or
I didn't.
something.
I wasn't into that dumb crap.
Yeah.
Oh wow, thanks,
It's a
bro.
very Ortego thing to do.
Ortega.
Yeah, very Ortego. That's gonna be a new thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Boone here, Mr. Boone, he was talking also about possibly looking at an NSX.
Oh no, we're not talking about that yet.
That's too much
We're,
car for
we
him.
can't
Yeah.
talk about that yet.
That's a whole new.
We need
chapter.
to talk. Yeah, we need to talk about first. Like your military time.
Oh shit.
Yeah, yeah, let's do it.
Other than trying to, I'm assuming straighten out your life a little bit.
Right.
So you came in 05. You did the whole basic AIT thing. Where's the
Yes.
first place you went?
I went to Benning. Yeah, so I left Alabama, traveled far away from home,
Far and
all
wide.
the way to Georgia.
Yeah.
Went to Benning, and then they were like, time to go to AIT for like I think 8 months, and so I went to Gordon. Another far travel.
Really, yeah,
Across
a lot
the
of
seas.
traveling.
Yeah.
Very crazy.
And then they were like, hey, you're done with this, man. Time to go to your first duty station. So once again, I packed my bags, got ready to get on the plane, and I went to Stewart. Also in Georgia, if you didn't know.
Yeah.
And definitely didn't want to blow my brains out. So
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
pretty great. Learned to live in Georgia for a while.
Yeah.
So you joined in 05.
Yep.
And how long did you serve for total?
11 and a half active and 2 in reserves.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
And how many places did you go to?
I went to, do you count deployments? 'Cause
Yeah.
I went to the
Yeah.
sandbox. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I went there twice, once in 07, once in 09. And then I came back, and Fort Stewart finally dug its thumb out of my ass and let me go. So I went to Germany.
Oh, that's
Finally got on a plane.
yeah.
Yeah.
And went over an actual sea.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, this actually happens. It
Is
wasn't-
Germany like a town in Georgia or actual Germany?
I was scared.
No.
When I got the orders, I was like, fuck, here we go. Where's Germany? Google. Is there a town named that in the U.S.?
It's an
That's where I'm going.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's crazy.
So I'm going to ask because I literally have no idea. Obviously, I've done a couple deployments overseas.
Yep.
What was that deployment like for you as a satellite guy?
So my first one was what I expected a deployment to be. It was a hot fucking mess because it was during the surge. I know you remember all that.
Yep.
So we went there. They had no places for us to sleep. We were in tents. Everybody was infantry. That was our sergeant major's exact words. Good old Campbell. And yeah, so we ended up doing a lot of foot patrols, a lot of convoys, everything like that after setting up. So I was a multi-shifter, at that point, which is what I expected. My second deployment was what I've been hearing about. And I became a full-fledged fobbit, and that was pretty interesting because they wouldn't let any of the SATCOM guys hit the ground. If we left base, it had to be on a bird.
And how did you feel about that?
It was a mixed bag. It was a mixed bag. I want to say I hated it because I did. My pride hated it, But the lazy part of me was like,
Fuck it.
fuck yeah, dude!
Yeah.
I'm not getting baked by the sun, for
I'm getting
12 hours a
combat
day.
pay and I'm not.
Yeah.
So did it feel
Salt
weird?
on that.
Did it feel weird? Were you how do you call it? Comparing it a lot to your first deployment kind of deal?
Oh yeah, I didn't
It's
feel like
like-
I was really deployed. Honestly, not my second deployment. There's a couple instances of stuff But I never once went out and fired my weapon at anybody that deployment. Like,
Yeah.
I can't even bullshit it. So first one, shit went down. Second one, why am I actually here? You know what I mean?
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. Like, for you both, like, how was it for you to? Did you? What is better in a mental state wise, in your opinion? Like, was it better just to be in a combat scenario, to stay busy, keep your mind busy, alert, or was it better mentally at the time? Regardless of what comes after.
It's a drug I didn't know I was doing.
Yep.
I'll say that.
That's very fair.
Yeah. Okay. So, and when I got done with my first deployment, we had been there 15 months and like 10 days or something like that. And it felt infinitesimally shorter than my second deployment, which was only 12.
Yeah.
So it's hard to explain how much of a time capsule you end up in, because days just run into each other and you're just always busy and you don't have time to sit down and think, you know, and...
yeah, and you come home and music's different.
Yeah. Oh,
it's completely different.
Yeah, completely different.
Like, you don't hear anything on the radio that you heard when you left.
You were
Nothing.
used to kind of listen.
I went to Walmart and just walked around and was like, holy fuck, like I don't have to eat fish steaks.
The first thing I did after all of my deployments, all 4 of them, is I would always come home, and the first thing I would do, you walk in the door, you take your boots off, you take your socks off, and I would massage the carpet with my toes, because you don't get carpet.
Right.
Carpet's like, just, it's
it's
weird.
not there.
To feel carpet again, it's fantastic. So I'd massage the carpet with my toes and stare at a ceiling fan.
Yeah.
Because ceiling fans are fantastic.
Right.
When you haven't seen one in forever, yeah, every single time.
It became like things that you take for granted.
It became like a ritual.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Well, I flew home and went back down to the bayou, and I was just like, holy shit, man, it's so green. Like, I just remember continually thinking, I was like, it's so fucking green. Yeah. And when we got off the plane, you know, of course we flew back to Georgia. So when I got off the plane, the doors open, we walked down, and I was just like, I remember breathing in, and I'm like, holy fuck, I can feel the moisture in my lungs. Like,
yeah.
That's crazy.
It's weird.
So dry.
It's weird.
It's something that I had taken for granted my whole life, especially being from where I'm from. You know, I was always in the South, always humid. And then I get over there, and I'm like, I started getting nosebleeds at first, you know, like it fucked me up a little bit.
Yeah.
I acclimatized, and then, I came back, and that's when I really realized, like, I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
I grew up just outside of Houston.
Right.
You know, so I'm used to hot, I'm used to humid, but then you get over there, and you're like, this is a different level of heat.
Different animal.
Oh, yeah.
This is 130 degrees of just staring
I remember
into an oven with a blow dryer in your face.
Yeah, we came from Tent City, and I remember we were on a Chinook, right? And I had my my bag on my back, my front, because you front load the assault pack with your weapon, and then I had my big ass duffel, and I'm walking, and the Chinook has those jets that come out the back, and I wasn't heat exhausted. I'd only been in, I'd been in country a couple weeks, but like I hadn't been in the heat, but for like a couple minutes at the time. So there was nothing going on with me as far as my body being exhausted or anything. And I walked behind that and I damn near passed out. And it was funny because I turned around and you would watch people just, regular strides, and they're just like, ugh. Like it was like walking through quicksand, but midair. So
yeah, the first thing that really tripped me up when I got into country in 05 was how, I know what sand is, but it's not sand that you get over. It's moon baby dust. Powder.
Yeah, we called it moon dust.
Yeah, it gets everywhere.
Well, that's another thing that I didn't think about until after I came back, that I had developed the habit. So we would go to like the DFAC or the gut truck, whichever it was, with the ones that they set up with the tent and everything. Yeah. So either way, I would always rinse my mouth out. Because you're so used to just having a mouthful of fucking sand. Like it literally, it just doesn't, it happens. Because you'll be eating mashed potatoes and it gets crunchy and you're like, I don't like this. You know what I mean?
It's sand.
That's kind of autistic, so I'm weird about that kind of shit. So I developed a habit of rinsing my mouth out before I ate, and then I came back to the States and I did it at a restaurant, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't have to do that.
I don't have to do that.
I don't need to do that here.
Yeah. I just have sand constantly in my fucking mouth.
And so when you were there, how old were you?
I was 18. Yeah.
18?
I
so
turned
pretty
18.
much quick.
Yeah, so they weren't 100% I was going to be able to go.
Okay.
So, because I got there and I was still 17 and they were getting orders. So that was my birthday present, was orders.
Yeah, and you were there for how long?
My first deployment?
Yeah.
15 months, 10 days. Yep.
Okay.
Went on Advon. Well, actually, I think we were Torch. And then we came back,
Did you feel like
trail party.
Did you feel like you grew up like 10 years in 15 months?
No, I felt like I was in a time capsule.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I still feel that way.
Yeah.
I'm 34, and I I have some friends who never joined and stuff, and they're like actual adults.
Yep,
And I'm
that's
like,
fair.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck, man?
I'm kind of that way. Like I feel like sometimes I'm just like the way I
Imagine.
talk and work and the way I like, you know, I don't know, think.
Right.
It's like adult. Like I'm almost like old school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like old soul style, but I feel like I'm like 18.
Right.
And it's sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm not 18.
I get that feeling a lot too, but I think in some ways, you know, you are kind of stuck in, like you said, a time capsule, but also you do grow up. It's just in
different ways.
and it's like two different kind of paths that you take, you know, because I mean, your first deployment, you were, you know, in the thick of it, you know, and I've been there, I've done that stuff, and every firefight I've ever been in, you know, and I've been in several.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter what happens. When you get back, like, there's always something that happened during that firefight that is the funniest damn thing
or something
that has
said.
ever happened. So when you're coming down from that drug you didn't know you were on, and that high is coming down, that adrenaline high is coming down, and it's you and your team or you and your squad. It was me and my team because that's what we operated in. I mean, you're peeing yourself laughing.
Yeah.
It is the funniest damn thing. And then people would ask me like, well, why is it so funny and all that other stuff? And I don't understand it, you know, like my family and my parents and stuff like that. And the only way I could really think to explain it is you are never more alive than when you are staring death in the face.
Yeah.
You know, like, man, yeah, that was funny. Like, you moved your chess pieces, I moved mine, and I was just playing this game a little better than you did, dude.
I'm still breathing.
Yeah.
Because you know, it's like they said in the Bible, sucking chest wounds is a sign you fucked up.
Yeah,
I think that's in there. Pretty sure.
No, I don't really think so.
I think it is.
No.
But No.
So when you have talking about like it's pretty much like a drug and adrenaline rush and all that stuff. How do you connect that to like, I know we talk, but how do you connect that with having like a fast car? Like, was that something that you were like, man, I needed this, or this is like therapy kind of deal?
I've always liked cars.
Okay.
I've always liked cars. Just, we were poor, you know, cars aren't really a poor people thing. You know, you can do a little bit.
That's fair.
But you got to have money got to pay to play type thing. So we had a 460 big block that my dad would always toy around with, and I mean it was NA, but it was putting down. I mean, realistically, we never dynoed it because we're Hicks, but probably 550 it felt like.
Butt dyno.
Yeah, butt dyno, probably an easy 550. And he would pull that out and put it on our 27-foot fiberglass boat. And you want to talk about some fucking fun, man. Like we'd go cool. like inner tube, you know, maybe pulling his, and I can't even say how fast, but I know that I let go one time and I skipped like 3 times, and then I shot under the water like 20 feet. Oh, I could swim before I could walk, literally. Yeah. So from a bayou, you know what I mean?
It's like a requirement.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing.
Yeah. So that, I guess, leads me into my next question: is what got you into cars, and what were you into at a young age? Like what?
So the first car that I remember, liking,
Alabama,
was a Buick Grand National.
See, there we go.
So I remember it was just something about the look, so fucking aggressive and fast and loud. And then there was a guy with a C3 Corvette that would roam around my neighborhood, and he had wheelie bars on the back of his car, and he drove on the street with slicks.
That's cool.
Because fucking Hicks do whatever they want, you know what I'm saying? It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that guy, he would have a lot of fun with it. My stepdad always talking about cars and then playing with his, and like I remember, when he turns in the road, you know it. You know what I mean? Like the damn thing was so loud. So I just always loved that. But the car that really like pulled me in is actually the car that I now own. So there was a guy with a like red C5 Corvette, and I remember him letting me sit down in it at the gas station, and it had the little pop up, because that was like the only fucking car that I know of at the time that had that, had the heads up display on it. And he was like, yeah, this is fighter jet technology and all this kind of shit. And I'm like a kid.
You're
So
like,
of course I don't
oh,
fuck.
hell
That's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah,
It is cool as
I was
hell,
like
too,
my
yeah.
first boner ever, fucking
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah, I was like, I want this, and now I have it. So
Yeah. My second 240 had a heads-up display, and it was so cool.
yeah, it's
You
one
know?
of those things where once you have it, you get in every other car. And you're like, why the fuck isn't it there?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and
How
it was
much
a
does that really
93,
cost?
and I had a heads-up display.
It's
and I'm
probably
like,
my
"What?"
favorite thing too. Like, and that's why we're talking about like the C5 just being such a like nice and complete car because he had, you know, for the time it was so ahead. Like he had the pop-up lights, he had the heads-up display, you know, and like now like the C7, C8, you know, they still have the. Well, I don't know about the C8, but I know the C7 still has a heads-up display,
Right.
and it's just so cool. Like, but if you grab a C5 and you see somebody that is not used to seeing stuff like that, they're like, holy crap, this is awesome, you know. And it's a C5, it's old as hell, you know.
Yeah.
Well, first off, let's just establish that any car with pop-up headlights is better
Exactly.
than cars without them.
Yep.
Like, and if you disagree, you're dumb.
Yeah, I mean, people are wrong all the time. There's nothing wrong with
Yeah,
disagreeing.
yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
But they are.
I'm right.
They're
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
cool.
exactly.
We are right.
We're correct.
We are correct.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with you being wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
It is what it is.
If that's the way you want to live your life,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna judge you.
Yeah.
But pop-ups are better.
I'm not gonna come knock the dick out of your mouth. You drive what you want.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess that's one way of putting it.
Yeah, but yeah, no.
Okay, so you got into the cars. What was your first car that you decided this? I'm going to make this mine. I'm gonna make it better.
Oh, that would be a 95 SN95 Mustang.
Right.
Oh, really?
It was an Interceptor edition from Florida.
The 5.0 deal.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was the Florida Highway, whatever the fuck, Pursuit.
Highway patrol stuff.
Yeah, so it was one of their pursuit cars, which sounds like it would be awesome. It's a pile of shit. So
Right.
it got me into cars forcibly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the
So-
good old 200.
Because you thought it was going to be badass, and it was like, nah, this
I
kind
thought
of
it was going to
sucks.
be badass, and then it was pushing water. So
Oh.
I was like, well, time to learn how to do head gaskets. Time
Yeah.
to learn how to replace the fucking the radiator hoses. And it was every other week something broke. But it gave me an appreciation because every time I fixed something new on it, the car was more mine.
It's an
You know what I
immediate sense of accomplishment.
mean? Yeah, exactly. And then I started. I bought CCWs back when they were still affordable. So
Oh god, yeah.
so I put CCWs on it. Got
So it looked good then, yeah.
yeah, and I got a what was it? The rear toe kit or front toe kit, adjustable camber plates and everything from Steeda. Because you know that was
Steeda, baby.
that's who
Yeah.
you did it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Mustang. And then I got the 3-inch cowl on it on the hood. Never painted it. Why would I? It was a white
Why?
car.
Yeah.
Hood. It did actually
Yeah,
save my
good.
ass one time because I raced a guy. He had like the bumblebee looking. What's the ones right after the New Edge Mustangs?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They always had
The
like
New
the twin
Edge,
black
yeah.
stripe.
Yeah.
So he had a New Edge with yellow and the black stripes on it, and we were just racing one time, and some cops were coming the other way, flipped on his lights. Me being a fully functioning adult, of course, did what I'm gonna do, and I flipped off down the road and fucking took off running because I'm retarded. And I got away. The other guy pulled over because he was a actual adult and an
Yeah.
E7, it turns out. And so weeks later, I see the car and I pull into a Wendy's and I walk in and I'm like, hey, and I see him over there. I'm like, hey, that's your Mustang, right? And he's like, yeah. I was like, you remember that white Mustang? He was like, that's you. I was like, yeah. I was like, what happened, man? He was like, well, they actually let me off with a warning because I pulled over and they said they were going to get your ass.
Oh yeah, they're
And I
going
was-
after you.
I was like,
Yeah.
fuck, man. And he was like, don't worry. He was like, I agreed with everything that they said. It was a black Mustang, yada, yada, because they saw my
Because of
hood
the hood.
and it was kind of dark. And I was
That's
like,
cool.
fuck, yes.
Nice.
Let's save my ass.
That is
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I had just unbeknownst, I didn't know that, they had any idea what they were looking for. But I had swapped in those old school halo lights into it as well,
Yeah.
the headlights.
Yep.
So at night, it looked like a totally different car.
That's cool.
So,
Was it an auto or manual car?
was an auto.
Auto, yeah,
It was
because
an
of police department
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah.
so.
Those automatics were not the greatest either.
Oh, it was a pile of shit.
Yeah,
That was pretty great. I would slap it into gears for no reason at all.
yeah.
Just being a dumbass with a semi-quick car.
So you were in the military when you had that car?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man. The car I had before the military? We were poor.
That's
so
cool.
it was $100 84. Damn, what are those things called? Grand Am.
Grand Ams?
Nice.
It was a complete shit box, and
Yeah.
and the guy told me half the engine is in the front seat, and he was not lying. So my stepdad helped me out over the next week, and we put it back together. And then I got an upgraded car. I got a '88 Cadillac Sedan DeVille,
Nice.
and that had the 4.9 in it.
Oh.
And it was floaty.
Yeah,
That thing had
caddy
some power.
smooth.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was this
Caddy
one hill
smooth.
that I would come down, and it had this everybody knew it had this mean bump at the bottom.
You're like, oh,
And that
I
thing's
don't
just
care about that thing.
Yeah, I'd fly down it at 95 for no reason at all.
Yeah. Just to see how much
'Cause
it would take.
Yeah.
Because it didn't matter.
It didn't
Yeah.
give a shit. Yeah, that thing
Yeah.
would eat bumps.
Hell yeah.
So-
Now, do you have like a sentimental value to that car? And that's a car you probably don't, because I had a Corolla. I had an '86 Corolla as my first car. So like, now I look for Corolla. I know he gets pissed off every time I
Yeah.
mention that.
I won't talk about it.
So I had an '86 Corolla, and to this day, there's one I see all the time coming to work, and I'm just like, man, I'm just waiting for that thing to have a for sale sign.
Wait.
Because it's not gonna be worth more than like
Oh,
500.
shit.
Oh yeah, there's one on 8th Street on the other side of town. Yes.
This
Now,
guy.
9th Street.
Now-
9th.
Project
Nine.
Spotted.
Dude, I'm gonna drive up every single street here in Junction. I'm gonna find that thing.
Yeah. It's an old lady too, and she drives it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Of course.
I will knock on the door.
Yeah. I saw her park in front of the house one day, in front of her house one day. I believe it's her house, maybe not, I don't know, but and I was this close. I was this close to just pull over and be like, "Are you selling this thing?" But I had somebody here waiting, and I was just like, "I can't do that." So I
I'm
just can't worry.
Glad I have a lot of free time.
There you go.
Yeah.
8th Street? All right.
Ninth,
luck.
9th
All
Street.
right.
But anyway, so I have a lot of sentimental value on that, on like a card like that. So I look for him. But it's a Grand Am. So do you even have anything relaxed?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Oh, dude.
Absolutely not.
My first car was a 92 Hyundai Excel.
Yeah.
You don't care to
Oh,
get
no.
one of those
Yeah.
back.
First off, you never see them, thank God, because
Right,
it was
yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
It was terrible. But
Yeah, I don't think anybody looks back at their old Geo Metro and they're like, man, I wish. You know, I don't think
They're
so.
cool. I think
was so
kind of
cool.
cool, bro. You don't like them?
A Geo Metro?
Yeah.
Turns out I don't.
Yeah.
wait,
Surprise.
wait.
Yeah.
No, I got.
Yeah.
I feel nothing.
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
I
know.
think for me, like, cars in my past will always have like a sentimental value. Like, I'll always have a soft spot for 240s, always.
Yeah.
Especially the S13s.
Yeah.
Like the one I had. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one was pretty cool.
That was a clean one.
Yeah, that was clean.
That was a clean one. But I loved them.
My brother got one when he was in Japan, actually. Took it drifting, folded a tire underneath it.
Oops.
Yeah. But he had it turboed up. It was nice. Took me for a ride in it.
Pop up
Yeah.
lights.
He was in his initial D phase.
Oh,
you know?
dude,
Yeah.
I'm a hardcore initial D
Oh,
guy.
there you go.
Yeah, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Not-
Little tofu
I'm not-
delivery on the
Yeah,
side.
I'm not afraid to admit it, man.
Ain't
So,
nothing wrong with that.
My first 240 was like a single cam. It was terrible.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember thinking I was the coolest thing ever because I carried duct tape in my car and I would duct tape the e-brake button down.
Oh,
And in the middle of the night, I would just
Yeah.
yank that thing like, oh, grip it and rip it, dude. And
Hey.
like one wheel, peel it everywhere. And
if you're talking me, you don't need the power,
yeah,
right?
yeah, man.
It's about the driver.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
So you probably have no idea what we're talking about.
Oh, I do. I
Oh,
do.
okay.
Yeah.
No, man.
So
Yeah.
back home we didn't have e-brakes and stuff like that. No, I'm joking. So we did a lot of like
Well, damn.
yeah, we did a lot of because everything's mountain
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So to park your car it's always first gear and e-brake on. You know what I'm saying? So we did a lot of like mountain stuff with the Corolla. Did a lot of that and completely fucked up the suspension in the front one time. But anyways, that's another topic for another day. Did you have while you're in the military? Did you like get loans to get a car or?
So the only car I ever got a loan for was a fucking Mazda 3. I traded in my. I'm trying to remember if it was that Mustang. I'm pretty sure it was that Mustang. I traded in on it, and I got a Mazda 3 because my ex was like, "Oh, let's start getting ready for kids" type thing. And I was like, "Yeah," and then I deployed, and what happens to wives when you deploy happened.
Yeah.
And, well, not all of them, but too many.
A good amount.
Some of them.
Yes. A good percentage.
A good percentage, yeah.
Yeah, so
High ratio.
I fucking hated that Mazda anyway, and then I ended up selling it to my brother because I paid it off pretty quick. I sold it to my brother, and then I kept coverage on it, and he got T-boned immediately because he has like the worst luck ever, and I made a little cash off of it thanks to gap insurance. So
Okay, so it wasn't
it
too
finally
bad.
was
yeah.
good for something in the end.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you were not one of those privates that gets
Oh, absolutely reamed by the local. No,
yeah.
no.
Oh, one of the smart ones. Nice.
Yeah, that's why he had that MOS. You know?
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I scored like 98th percentile on my GED.
Jesus Christ.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know where all that went, but I used to be smart as fuck, apparently.
Hey, but you have a job now that is you have to be smart to do
Right,
that
right.
job.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you. Not a lot of people can just grab that
Walk
job
into
off
that.
the shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay, so you did the whole army thing. So when did you get out? When were you officially done with your military service?
2016 active and 2018 reserve.
So what brought you here to the Fort Riley area?
Another ex. I followed her back from Germany.
okay.
So we got married. I stayed over there with her for like 2 years in Germany. And then we came back here together because she got stationed here. I got a good job on post. And so she left. After we got divorced, obviously, she left. And then I stayed. And now I'm here.
Right on.
That's good.
Yeah. Got deposited in the Midwest. Fuck my life.
Yeah. And so how was your transition coming out of the military? Was it like
Oh, my parents
did you have
didn't
a plan
accept.
you gotta finish that sentence now. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty rough for me.
Okay, so that's good. That's what we're looking for. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of guys out there that are, you know,
It's coming.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I joined at 17, man. I'm not even gonna act like I was an adult before I joined. I had
Yeah.
no fucking idea what to do with myself, and the Army always told me what I was gonna do with
Yeah.
myself. So that's the way I lived for a long time. And then I got out, and everybody's like, "Oh man, you're pushing 30. You know what's going on in the world." I'm like, I really fucking do not. Like, I've
Yeah.
never even had to get health insurance. You know what I mean? Like, none of this. I don't know any of this shit. So, yeah, and there's like, you know, no H&R blocks popping up and saying like, "Hey, come talk to us. It's that time." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." You know what I mean? So now I'm an adult, and they're not like, "Hey, come in." I'm like, "Oh, it's right there. It's that time."
Yeah.
So I missed my first tax return whenever I got out because I was just working. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I didn't even think about it. So, yeah.
Yeah, so having that guidance is a big deal, and then when you stop having that guidance, you're floating around trying to figure life out, right?
Yeah.
Well, that, and I think for me, you know, because I joined, like, I enlisted when I was, you know, I signed, like, swore in when I was like 17. I started when I was 18. You know, I'm very close to terminal leave, you know, and just talking to my wife now, and I'm like, I don't know how to get a job. I haven't done an interview in 20 years, you know, and I was talking to my wife about certain things, and she's like, you don't need to tell them that. I'm like, what do you mean? Like they can't ask you that stuff.
Right.
But what do you mean they can't ask me if I'm married and I have kids? No.
Yeah.
Well, if I have a doctor's appointment, no. You just tell them you have an appointment.
Oh yeah, I still
Like-
have the habit of reaching out to my boss and be like, "Hey, can I take leave?" He's like, "Sure, leave, man."
Yeah.
I was like,
She's like,
"You, I'm an adult."
When you take
Yeah, I don't have to,
vacation,
yeah.
you don't have to tell them where you're going.
Right.
Like, well, that does not make sense.
Yeah. No trips.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's
Like,
crazy.
you don't need a strip map?
Yeah.
Go to your boss. Hey, I'm just trying to see if my leave got approved. What are you
Yeah.
talking about, dude?
Do you need my mom's address? That's where I'm going. Like,
Yeah.
no. Yeah. And it's so weird to learn about that stuff. So,
Yeah, that's true. I mean, for me it was a lot different, obviously, but just coming out, and I mentioned it before, it's just you're always gonna have an adjustment. You know, everybody's gonna be different.
Right.
But if you were to look back, do you think that you would do something different that you can like tell somebody like, hey, you know, this didn't work for me. This is definitely
For
the
the
way I
Army?
would have done it. Yeah, like the transition
Or
from
military
Army
period.
to
Oh, the transition specifically.
yeah.
Do
Do you think that you
know
could have
your medical
prepared
shit now?
better? Or
The
anything
VA, the VA will definitely nickel and dime you on that stuff. So definitely get it all written down and make sure it's written down. Because just because you talk to the doc doesn't mean it got put in your records. I found
Yep.
that out the hard way. So
Yeah.
that would be one big thing. And then use your tuition assistance that you can get. You know, they will pay for a lot of online college without you touching your GI Bill.
Yeah.
that is honestly one of the two biggest regrets I have in my career.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I've been in for 20 years, man. I could have come out with a master's degree,
Yeah.
you know, and I have nothing.
Now, when did you ever like ask your first sergeant or whatever? Did you ever ask like, hey, I want to take classes? Did you ever go into that stuff, or not really?
I did a little bit because I was going to finish out some electrical engineering hours due to my AIT training, and there's a couple colleges that accept them and the transcripts. So I started some. I knocked out all of my cores. I did all of that. I did it all online. So I have used it, but I never finished out the degree. And then by the time I was getting out, I was kind of just like lost, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what I wanted to do because I knew I was burnt out on SATCOM. And that's when I started to move towards the career I do now, which is right underneath SATCOM, doing networking.
Right.
Because that's where all of that goes anyway. And so everything in the networking world is, certificate based. So it doesn't, like college is cool and all, but do you have this? Do you have that? Have you gotten these? So I started going more towards certs, and that's its own amount of schooling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, that was my focus.
And
so that's one of the things that you kind of... Do you regret not getting the degree?
Honestly, not that much. I don't think it's as necessary in certain fields, which I happen to be part of.
Yeah.
But I think if you want to pursue a field that isn't certificate-based, you probably should, take advantage.
Okay.
So that would be my advice.
Yeah. And I keep telling all of my younger soldiers, like, man, don't do it better than I did.
Right.
Do it better than I did. Because I've been incredibly blessed. I for the most part, really enjoyed my Army career, but that's one of my big regrets is, man, I could have been walking out here with a degree and not paying a dime for it, and then the other thing that I really regret is I should have taken the time and taken a couple more pictures.
Yes, my God.
Because take the time, man, because
you're
gonna look back, you're gonna be telling stories,
cool
and you're gonna be like, man, if I'd have just
if I just had this to show,
like
I hundreds of great moments that I never captured.
Yeah,
and you don't.
And you
realize
have
it until it's
fantastic camera in your pocket now.
Yeah,
it's not like when we went, because my first appointment was 05.
Flip a phone.
My super badass Motorola Razor.
Mine came with a stylus.
That was a badass phone.
It was. But take that picture, man. Take a minute, take a picture, because I think again of all of my combat deployments, I have maybe 5 pictures.
Yeah, I think I probably have about 15.
Yeah, we were busy. We were, and so it wasn't like, oh, hey, man, let's pose for a picture real quick. But we had we had some downtime too, where you could have just been like, just take a picture of something. But yeah,
I recover a bunch of stuff with like the 88, and we would recover some stuff that I was just like the sketchiest things that you could ever imagine. With like you picking up really heavy equipment and whatnot, and you're just like, oh man, like this is crazy, and like you can capture those moments. And I wish I could just show like even like my wife, family, whatever, and be like just look at this,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Even because I don't know about you guys, but like when I remember the first time I walked into a motor pool, the very first time I walked into a motor pool and I actually saw military equipment, like oh yeah, you're gonna work on that. I was awed. I was like, this is badass. This is super cool. And that that kind of ends quick because we're all human. You get used to it very quickly, But at the same time, like having, like you said, like having those pictures or videos nowadays or whatever, like it would have been so cool just to have that, even just for you.
Yeah, I wish I would have taken pictures of some of the mountains in Afghanistan.
Right.
They're like awesome, right?
Breathtakingly. It's a beautiful country.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful country. It's just got it's got a couple little issues.
It's been a proxy war sandbox for a few countries for a long time.
But man, like I wish. I'm standing on top of this mountain on Thanksgiving Day in 2011, and it's gorgeous.
Right.
It's gorgeous, And then 5 minutes later, we were getting mortars dropped on us. Yeah. But it's still pretty cool.
You're like, fuck this place.
Oh yeah. I've been on top of I wouldn't call it a mountain, even though we called it a mountain. But it was up there. This was in Iraq, and we had an OE up there, and I was actually laying under a Humvee because where else am I going to get shade? And the sun started setting, and it did like the heat ripple shit.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was actually gorgeous, and I was like, "Fuck, man! I wish I could take a picture of this." But I didn't have any of that shit with me.
So listen to us, kids, if you're listening or watching, and you think about joining the military or in the military.
Take more pictures.
Take pictures. You've got a fantastic camera in your pocket, back them up, and take the time to do one class a semester.
Yeah.
One class a semester.
And I
You
should
know?
say on that, like about taking a class, like I had a lot of peers that our chain of command would say like, no, you can't take a class, or like we're going to the field or whatever. And it got to the point that I just kind of got fed up. I was like, no, I'm taking the class. I'm just gonna go higher and just take the class, you know, in a very respectful way.
Right.
I was like, hey, I agree with you that we're going to the field. I will find the time and I will take my class, you know. And I remember being in Poland, and we were in the field, and we had those little Wi-Fi pucks, and now everybody can get it when you're in Europe or whatever, Korea, Europe, those
Right.
other places I went to, and you have your Wi-Fi puck, and I was taking and submitting, you know, my classes and stuff with that Wi-Fi puck. So like, there is an excuse if you're going to the field, you're not allowed to have a bunch of equipment or whatever. I understand that, but if your higher ups are not quote unquote allowing you, just understand that they're just trying to put the mission first, which it is what it is. But at the same time, if you push a little bit harder, I guarantee you can get your
I
classes
think it's
done.
a little different now. I do think like going to college and doing that education,
more supported.
it's way
Oh,
more
yeah,
supported
way more.
than it used to be.
That's great. Yeah, that's great because it's definitely needed, and especially then you get out and if you try to do college stuff or even before, like how expensive is it? You know, it's
Well,
The
ridiculous. It's
shift
always
now
been.
too. I don't think it's just supported. It's damn near necessary. If
Yeah,
you wanna
if you wanna get
progress.
promoted, yeah.
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 And the other thing for me is like, would a degree help me? Huh, maybe, but I'm damn near 40. I'm not good at like doing the whole online class thing. I need to sit in a classroom, and because that's the way I learn.
Right.
I'll be damned if I'm gonna be the 40-year-old crusty dude in the back of a class with a bunch of college students who are
In K-State
probably
or
going
something.
to annoy the ever-living hell out of me, and I've got to just sit here and no, not my thing.
Just call it TRADOC.
Yeah, see, and that's why I was never an instructor
Just be like
because
fucking privates.
No.
Every time you do something stupid, fucking privates.
can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so let's get serious about some car stuff. All right,
All right.
your C5,
Yes.
right? You want to take it to the track,
Yes. Road course.
road course.
Yes.
That's where I was going.
I'm a road
That's the
course guy.
difference. Yeah.
There you go. So is that why you decided to go supercharger and not turbo? Like,
No, I decided to go supercharger because the guy had a good price on a supercharged car already. So
So, you already came with the goodies. Right?
honestly, I like turbos. I really do. But I mean, what is a centrifugal? It's just a belt-driven turbo anyway. So
yeah.
it was already on there. A&A makes a really, really good fucking kit. Very well researched. It also had the DeWitt's radiator on it.
Yeah.
So, and I know that was, he had some good key modifications. What are those 4-piston Willwoods, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's got good brakes.
yeah, you have good brakes on that
Yeah, it
car.
has a lot of really good shit already on it. So I was like, for 19,
Oh, that's pretty good.
yeah, when it was
Yeah.
got 72,000 miles.
Yeah. I
For
paid. I think it was like
19Gs.
16 to 18 on mine, and it
Yeah.
was just cammed.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. So 19 with all that shit, I was just like, might as well. I mean, it's got a $1,000 steering wheel on it.
Right.
So,
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
a pretty nice thing.
It's got the
Yeah.
fucking I mean, it doesn't matter, but the stereo system, it just had a lot of the stuff I was already planning on doing, and I was like, why not save myself $6-7 grand and just buy this one?
Now, is this a car that you want to just take to like maybe Heartland Raceway in Topeka, or are you trying to do some travel stuff with it?
Oh, it's definitely going to do that too. So I'm probably going to hit up Tail of the Dragon, what, South Carolina, right? So I want to,
Somewhere around there.
yeah, somewhere around there. And I don't know, like maybe hit up Texas a few times, get my fucking cheeks clapped by some Miata with a Viper engine in it. I want to do, a lot of shit with it. The whole purpose behind building it the way I am is that I can daily it if I wanted to, but it can also be a bit of a track weapon. So
Right.
that's the whole point.
I've heard that driving at Coda is pretty epic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't obviously, but
Yeah, same.
I've heard a lot of guys that say like driving on Coda is like billiard smooth.
Right.
I mean, it had to be Formula One certified and all that other stuff, but it is a fantastic facility. So, and they do a lot of open track days there. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I ever get the time and money, I also would like to hit up Mazda Speedway because
who doesn't want to drop off the corkscrew once?
I just want to say I ran it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just such a ubiquitous track, man. I want to fucking go smack it a few times.
Yeah.
Hopefully get a time I can be proud of and call it a day.
Yeah, I think that probably be like a bucket list thing for me is just that little left and then falling 3 stories, you know, and the ground just disappears and you're just praying it's still there. Yeah. I would love that feeling.
Hopefully it feels like the Cadillac on that bump.
Yeah, probably fucking not.
Probably won't.
Yeah, no Vikings are going on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've already looked into that, so.
And you also have a Mustang.
I do.
S550.
Yep, 2015 GT Performance Pack.
And that one you just beat the crap out of
Custom
every time
body
I see
kit.
you. Yeah.
Custom body kit on the side.
Oh yeah.
Courtesy of Rails on a track. Yeah.
Also, you tracked that one too?
I wouldn't call it tracked it.
Okay.
I drove it on a toll road.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Nürburgring. Told you about this.
You did?
Yeah, in Germany. That's where I bought the car.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So and I slid into a rail, crunched my side in.
And
Had
you
a lot
learned
of
that
fun.
Mustangs are not all that dependable on corners.
No, I
did it do okay?
I remembered when it sprinkles, it's the most dangerous. So that's what happened. Somebody had gotten into a wreck. There's oil on the road already. They had done a sweep kit, but the rain hit it. The oil got on top of all of that. I just went around a corner. It was like I was on glass. So
Right.
Well, I mean, they don't call it the green hell for nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what the car is.
What a
That's the car says.
fantastic idea. If like, oh, this is, you know, anybody you can just basically pay a toll and do a lap.
Oh, it's the best.
I mean,
it's
how awesome
classified
is
as
that?
a one-way street. You
Yeah.
literally can't even pass on the right.
But they have like freaking mail trucks and stuff. I think I was watching
you can drive
anything. You
you
will
want.
see some crazy shit out there.
I was watching the Cooper Bugatti podcast show, and they were talking about somebody had like a mail truck was just going down it because they were just taking that road.
What fucking Top Gear? They ran a fucking Sprinter van on it.
Yeah, that was driven by Sabine Schmidt before she passed.
She got like a almost 10 flat.
Yeah.
Because I know they didn't they draft it? Right? She did a bad run.
I don't
they got
remember.
a car in front of her so she could draft off
think
of it
so.
to get a better run because she was trying to beat Clarkson.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can drive whatever the fuck you want on that track.
Yeah.
So that's bucket list now then.
That
because-
man.
Well, that's the thing. It's not a track though, and it will teach you that because that is one bumpy motherfucker. It is
Right.
not friendly.
Really.
So I think it's like 12.8 miles and 180 something turns.
I think it's almost 14. I think so.
Oh, I think you're right. I know it's like 180 plus turns somewhere around there.
No, it is a toll road. It is classified as a toll road. Like it has German road laws applied to it. That's why you can't pass on the right. Like
Yeah.
all of that.
Do they
shit.
ever like close it so you can do like a test, for example, like rent a car or learn or
Oh hell yeah!
things like that?
There's like a roundabout, if I remember correctly. There's a roundabout in the town, and if you go around it and over here, there's like a center that you can like go in there. You can purchase like the Green Hell card and all that because you can just pay like €30 per lap.
Okay.
Or you can get the card and get all the deals and shit. And then in there, they will tell you about like their professional drivers that they have that drive that track day after day after day after day, and they will scare the ever loving dog shit out of you. Like you think, oh man, I just went out there and fucking
I smashed it.
I tore that track up, and then this guy comes out and he just drags your times. Like he will fucking just absolutely embarrass you, and it is terrifying, but it's awesome. And it's a really good way to see, you know, exactly what a dream car you might have had is capable of.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they have those. So
Yeah,
I
they
never
can
paid
actually
for
do
any
it.
of that because I'm a cheap bitch, but do I
It's not
regret?
bad. You said like €30 a lap or something?
Not if you're getting in the fucking like
Oh,
Lambos
gotcha.
and shit.
Okay,
So
yeah.
and I know they had like a GTR out there one time, and I was thinking about it, but I was like, nah, because you do have to pay rental fees and stuff, and then the driver, of course, and all that. So it gets expensive, but
So there's like drift car courses and stuff like that. I think it's I might be completely wrong, but I think it's like Seattle or somewhere up there or something. And that'd be something really cool to do to like, because they give you like a Ford Fiesta or something like that, and then you start going down like a dirt roads, like rally roads and stuff like that.
So I think that's Dirtfish
Maybe.
is what you're talking about. It's somewhere up in the I think it's somewhere up in the Pacific Northwest. But yeah, Dirtfish is a rally school. And
Yeah, it's like a rally school. I looked at this thing like 8 years ago or maybe more.
It's pretty.
I love rally, but I don't know if I ever would.
I don't know.
I got balls, but they
I was gonna say,
Yeah, it's pretty
I don't know if I have the balls for that.
Yeah.
Like I've done some really dumb crap in my life. You know,
Well,
I don't know if I've done
the problem
that kind
is I know I'm dumb. And rally doesn't afford you the opportunity to be dumb and walk.
Yeah, you just don't have. You just don't have the time to.
Yeah.
You don't have the time to think. It's just got to be like, oh, this is normal.
You have to know that track.
Yeah.
The reason why I like it, and I feel like it's like connected to like or drawn to it, is because again back home we had hills everywhere, so like those kind of environments to me are natural. So like to me it's just like I don't know, you grew up in the States and you'll see it's just flat roads.
I mean, we lived
just
on dirt
hauling
roads.
ass.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But to me, it was just hills and mountains and trees everywhere, and everything was dirt. If I wanted, depending on where I went, and I used to grab my car and just because I was young and dumb, I was just like going faster than I should have, you know.
Yeah.
So then I see that there's schools to do that. I'm just like, man, this would be really cool. And the dumb me thinks I'll probably be really good at it, and then I'm probably gonna get there and I'm gonna be like, man, I suck at this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go back home now.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, it's
It looks
unforgiving.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Okay, so you've got the C5, you've got the Mustang,
Yep.
and you're thinking about adding
And
a third.
NSX.
Yeah, This is what we need to talk about now.
So, in an undisclosed location from an undisclosed person, hopefully.
I'll introduce this story a little bit.
Yeah. Go for it.
So there's a guy that comes here to the shop, and when we do exhaust work, he buys the catalytic converters and stuff like that. And one day, just random, he was like, "Hey man, there's an NSX here, and the guy is not asking much for it. The car like drives and whatnot. It's in good shape." And he sent me some pictures, and I think at the time I was like too deep into the Supra, and I was just like, I had the Supra and other cars, and I was just, I had too many things going on, and I was just like, yeah, whatever. It was just like gray area. Now, to me, an NSX, I know it's a really cool car, but to me, an NSX is like, okay, it's like me telling you like the Shelby Super Snake that is in the shop right now. You'd be like, okay, it's a cool car, but you know,
No, it's pretty rad.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's fucking nice.
Yeah, so, you know, I was just like, yeah, whatever. And it's been like a whole year or more, you know? And then he came over and he was talking about the NSX again, and we were just talking about it. And I was like, dude, I actually might know somebody. So then I guess you can talk about like you talked to him or whatnot?
Yeah, I've already reached out. So he said he's gonna go by this week, try to get me in contact with the guy, send me some pictures, and I'm gonna head out there and maybe take you for a ride and we can check it out.
I can help you out.
Hell yeah!
So
because I definitely want to dive off into that.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a finish line car for me.
That's a holy grail car.
Yeah. So
I think for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, just what a fantastic chassis. You know.
What year is it? Do you know?
Don't know.
Do we know?
So
Okay.
I asked him, and he wasn't sure. And I was like, "Does it have pop-ups?" And he said yes. And I was like, I think they
Okay,
stopped
we're
at
good.
93.
Oh, really?
If I'm right.
I think so.
So it has to be somewhere around there, which means it'll have the C30A, and I'm fine with that because that's, like I said, and he said it was running. So all I want to do is just focus on making that a good. I'm not going to try to like freak beast it like the C5. I just want it to be. Who doesn't want to daily a fucking NSX?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I might just make a YouTube channel called Pop-Ups if I get to do that.
Yeah.
I'll have the two
Dude, that's a good
red
idea.
car pop-ups.
That's a good one.
So
That's a good one.
yeah, and all I'll do is just like record them and be like, "You ain't got it, bitch," and then I'll just turn it off. Like 30-second long clips, YouTube shorts.
Just YouTube shorts.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's
And post the same thing on TikTok. Just call it a career.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do with your Mustang and the Vet if you're dailying the NSX?
The vet'll probably just keep eating money until I decide I'm finally done with that. Whenever the fuck that happens.
It should run pretty good right now, though.
I mean, yeah, but I know I'm not going to be able to load it up the way I want, or I'll
Gotcha.
rename my transmission.
Yeah.
I told you about those guys. So I'm planning on doing the gut swap of a TR6060 Magnum into the T56 bell housing, and that way it can finally actually stand up to the power. I'm
Yeah, a
trying to
lot
put
stronger
down.
for sure.
Yeah.
But if the NSX happened, I think your attention is gonna be drawn somewhere else.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're
Oh,
gonna
fuck.
be just
Well, if
like,
your
okay,
attention's
this is
not,
it.
your wallet sure as hell will
Oh
be.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But either way, even if I can't immediately address that concern of getting it, where I want it to be, who gives a
Just
shit?
driving it.
I'll own an NSX. Yeah, I don't even
Yeah.
give a fuck if it spits on me every time.
Would you
know what I mean?
modify it like heavily, or you think it will just do like some cosmetic stuff? Or
Cosmetics on that shit. NSX cosmetics are woof.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll
Yeah.
probably look pretty stock for a while,
Okay.
but I do 110% want to go ITB on it. I want those individual throttle bodies
Yeah.
on that C30A because it's just one of those engines that's made for it. It'll sound fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm probably gonna spend too much on an exhaust.
You'll be worth it though.
Right, because the whole thing is I want a high revving NSX.
Naturally aspirated.
Just as much as I love, whoosh sounds, not on that car. So,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can easily replace the whoosh sounds with that ITB sound.
yeah.
Like, man. And ITBs are just, well, one, they're just so visually pleasing.
Yes. And it's another thing, I can see it.
But to hear it, oh man,
It's a whole different animal,
it's an
yeah.
intoxicating sound.
Exactly.
It
So that's-
really is.
That's my focus.
Okay.
is
Do
that.
we know what color it is?
Nope.
That's kind of cool though.
Does it
It's a
matter?
whole secret.
No,
No.
no, it doesn't matter.
Well, what colors did it come? Like,
Red, black, white,
Yeah.
and then they had that weird green.
They had
Remember
a
the dark
green?
green ones?
Yep.
yeah.
They
So
had
it doesn't
green.
matter.
So-
They're all good
No,
colors.
doesn't matter.
No, they all look
I'm
amazing.
pretty sure that the green is an extremely rare color.
Yeah, if it's green, I'm just gonna it's happening. I don't care
Yeah.
how far into debt I have to go. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Those are the rarest ones, I'm
Pretty
assuming.
sure.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that if you buy that car, you have to buy a pair of penny loafers.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
So now I have to have New Balances and penny loafers.
you have to have
So
penny loafers.
I can wear the jorts.
The car was
with the penny
developed.
loafers.
The car was developed with penny loafers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ayrton Senna was wearing penny loafers when he drove it all the time.
See,
You have
Of course
to.
you would know that.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Is
I
there
know
an
Senna. Yeah, Senna co-developed it. I know that much, but
Oh yeah.
yeah.
He put a lot of work into it.
Right. Yeah, he was the Carroll Shelby of the GT40 to the
Yeah.
NSX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Is there an NSX at the museum in Manhattan right now? or
there
no?
is not.
Okay.
There is not. So
Was there any at any time or no?
No.
That you know? No?
nope. Nope. Sadly, I mean we've got the R34 GTR V spec in Midnight
That's the
Purple.
one that was from the.
Midnight Purple 2 is such a
Fucking badass.
that car is so beautiful.
That's the one that got one
Yeah, he won it.
from, what was it? The
Tuner
Colt?
Colt.
Yeah, Tuner Colt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got a Supra. I almost bought a bunch of overpriced shirts because of that Supra they got going right now. That bitch looks bad.
Yeah.
It's like gray with a wide body kit on it.
Yep.
Is it
The
a
new
Mark
Supra.
IV?
The new Supras.
The-
The A90s?
Yeah. But it looks clean though.
It looks good.
Yeah.
Because
I'm not a fan of the new one.
I was like, no.
But
NSX around the corner.
Yeah.
we've had like 3 people from this area win. Like those,
Yeah.
one was 8080. It was a,
Yeah.
I believe, a green.
It was a green
Supra.
A90. Yeah.
A green A90.
Oh, he was from here too?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's on Riley.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I
So
see
we-
it all the time.
So civilian
And then
Wait,
won the
Is it green or
GTR.
yellow?
Yep.
It's green.
Somebody won the GTR
Yeah.
V-Spec.
Yep.
And then the third one, I can't remember what the third one was, but I know that there was a third one.
See, that's one of the reasons why I don't buy that stuff because I'm like, well, this area's
I
tapped.
think it was a
Yeah, right.
This
What are
area's
the
tapped.
chances?
Yeah, this area's
I
tapped.
bought
out.
into the Lambo thing and somebody won it. I saw it like
I think it was
one night. I saw it and I was like, crap.
I don't know.
I think
Yeah.
it was a R32
I don't know.
because I believe it got taken to a shop out in Manhattan to get detailed at some point, and then the guy PCS. But I'm not. Don't quote me on that.
It's
Yeah.
my personal favorite.
R32.
Out of the GTRs, R32.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Like, I mean, the R34s are gorgeous. R33s are really growing on me.
Yeah.
But man, the R32.
I like the Silvias, which
Ooh.
I don't know what chassis that's considered. Like a 14, right? S14.
Well, they had 13s, 14s, and 15s.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think the S14 Silvias that they only sold in like the UK and Japan. I love those. I don't know what it was about the UK model that I like so much, but I know I like
Well, they didn't call them
Silvias.
Sylvias, yeah, they call it. I think they were called like 200 SXs or something.
Do you think the
Over.
R35 is ever going to get to a point that people will like them like people like the 33s and
Well,
34s?
I don't know.
Or I got two.
I think some of the big draw behind the R32s, 3s, and 4s is we didn't get them.
Yeah.
So you always covet what you cannot have.
Right.
So, and I mean, the R35s are fantastic. They are fantastic cars. They
Yeah,
are
they're fun to
absolute monsters.
Yes.
They're easy to drive. They're fun to drive.
But they are not Skylines.
Right.
I think it's comparable to the new Supras, like, but the GTR's just gone through more generations. Per
Yeah.
se. Like
Dude.
everybody wants the Mark IV, but everybody sees a Mark V and they're like, "Damn, that's still a cool car," but it's not.
But it's
really-
not.
Yeah, it's not a
It's
Supra.
not. Yeah.
So
It's a BMW.
So the R35, like when you push it, it's something else. Like
Yeah.
you really have to push it to understand. Like
You had one, right?
yeah, I had
Yeah.
two of them, and one was I got rid of the C5, and I knew it handled well, you know. And then Michael actually and I were having a little bit too much fun, and we went on a runabout, and I think we hit that runabout like a 70 miles an hour. It was some ridiculous crap, and I was
had
just
a
like,
Red Bull in my hand,
Yeah.
and I've never clutched onto something harder. In
Yeah,
those,
and
like,
this
half
thing-
a second we were going around that roundabout.
yeah, and you could feel the car like gaining traction, like it wasn't trying to get away from me.
Right.
Like it's just like gaining traction, and it actually like the feedback is ridiculous, and that's what I was like falling in love with more and more, to the point that I was like, I'm gonna crash this thing, because I was getting addicted to like how good the feedback was.
Well, the
you're
lateral
driving,
transfer of those cars is fantastic. When they first came out, Jeremy Clarkson was driving one. I'm pretty sure it was at Fuji Speedway, and he
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
he was just jerking on the wheel left
Yeah.
and right. Even made the comment that like, "Oh, this car corners faster than electricity," and then he immediately threw his neck out.
Right. There you go.
You know.
yeah,
So
yeah, it's pretty ridiculous, and you know, the ones I had weren't like modified or anything. It had,
Right.
if anything, the silver one handled a lot better because it had more of a stock wheel size, you know. The other one was like oversized wheels, and it didn't handle as well because the
Right.
technology was there for the stock size wheels kind of thing. And but we pushed that thing, and it just, the feedback was just like addicting, you know.
but I don't think they're ever going to get to that status.
And I think
they
because
have
of
their
that-
own status
Yeah.
right now, just because I mean they're roll racing
Demons, yeah, if you build them
yeah,
and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
monsters.
Yeah,
you
they're
know,
fucking insane.
they're fantastic.
Performance wise.
But
It's
They-
I don't think it's going to be. You know what car I do think is going to reach Supra status? That personally I think is the new Supra, LC 500s. I think they're way under the radar right now, but LC 500s I think will. I mean, they come with that 5.0. They're fucking gorgeous. Like
they are pretty.
yeah, they're super pretty cars, and I think
Yeah,
it's
they're
one of those
good-looking
cars
cars.
that's going to
Yeah.
age like super gracefully.
I'm actually pretty excited because there's been spy shots and spy videos and all this stuff that Lexus might be. They actually just trademarked
yeah.
the replacement for the LFA, and they're calling it the LFR.
Yep.
It's a twin turbo V8. They've already got
Oh, really?
Yeah.
they've already got a GT3
There's-
spec like race
There's
car.
like 6 or 7 articles on it.
Oh,
right now.
man.
Yeah, it's sounding like it's gonna be a fucking monster. And
It's
if it's
gonna-
anything like the LFA, I
Well,
mean,
it's not a
yeah.
V10.
Right. But I'm saying
Just-
as far as the focus that they put and the
man.
attention to detail that they put, like the LFA is just top down.
Oh yeah,
Just everything is thought out.
it's
So,
fantastic.
yeah,
It is a fantastic car.
definitely something
You
I'll never
can't
run.
replace that sound though.
No.
The LFA?
You'll never be able to replace that
Yeah.
sound.
Yes.
I just think it
One
was
of the most
fantastic
unique
when they were
stuff,
developing that car. They had the whole body made out of aluminum and all that stuff, and they were ready to roll into production. And the guy was like, one of the lead designers was like, "No, I think we need to do this in carbon fiber." So then they had to completely redo everything. It's not like they could just swap the body and make, it's carbon fiber, it's fine.
It's
No, they had to
got
redo suspension, and that means that they had to redo trans, they had
Right.
to retune the motor, they had to do.
Is it
Oh.
one of those that has like the capsule, the carbon fiber capsule?
It's a carbon fiber monocoque.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
believe so, yeah.
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 So these things are like extremely light, probably.
They're really light. I believe they sold them, the MSRP on them was supposed to be like $360,000.
Yeah, it's a bit of
And
Jesus Christ.
every single one that they actually sold, they lost money
Yep.
because it cost them
It's an
so
image
much.
thing at that point.
The first two,
Yeah, and
I believe the first two that they sold in the U.S. were both bought by Paris Hilton.
Really?
Yeah. And
That's kinda
why, I have no idea. She's pretty useless. But
Yeah, rich people.
But they're not as
What?
light as the Chevy 2 Nova in here.
probably not.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have like all the interior and
I don't know
everything.
about that. Is that your new?
Yeah.
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 When did you start that one?
When did I start it?
Yeah.
We just bought it.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I knew you had a project coming, but I thought it was something else.
It was.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, I made a video on that, so you can watch that video
Like,
later.
I watch your shit. No, it's fine.
Thanks, bro.
That needs to be the thumbnail right there.
Oh yeah, it's done. Yeah. But yeah, no, all the other project cars are gone. This
Right,
one's
right,
too
right.
nice to.
You were gonna do the catfish last, I thought.
The Fifi, the Fox body,
Yeah. Okay,
Michael's
okay.
Fox. Yeah, that's swap plans, but
I
So
buy
you-
a project, I pull fumes, I sell it.
yeah, that's Michael's story.
Great
yeah.
success.
And I kind of just follow. Yeah,
Yeah,
on
just
that. I
just
do the
collect after his mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I'll sell the other ones and then I'll build this one, and I never sell the other ones. I just buy another one.
Right.
That's kind of
It's
a
a
problem.
rough. It's not a problem. It's
Yeah.
not a problem. I'll tell you the same thing that I told my wife on our first date.
Everything he said in that sentence is bad.
Right.
So continue.
Go for it.
I'll tell you what I told her. Like when I first met her, I told her like, hey, first I'm divorced. I've got 3 amazing kids. I used to be a smoker. Like I'm a smoker. I'm in the army. A lot of like women don't like that. And I also have a car problem. She's like, well, what do you mean by a car problem? And I was like, I'm a single dude, and I think at the time I had like 4 cars or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, wow, that is a bit of a problem. And I was like, yep, but it's better than heroin.
True.
And she goes,
Only slightly though.
oh yeah, I guess you're right. I was like, all right then.
Yeah.
And then we got married and had our wedding reception at a car museum.
Nice.
So
That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty rad.
Yeah.
That's what you're into, man.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
So are you into drag racing at all? You're never like, eh.
I mean, is that where they like sprint across stage, or?
So I guess he is, right?
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, drag racing's cool. It's not my thing, but I do like watching it. But
Yeah.
and this isn't a shot at anybody who drag races, because I know there's a lot of them. But
Yeah.
these days, it seems like it's more about who had the most money to put into the
Yeah.
project. You know,
Yeah.
because everything is so finely engineered now, and nobody is out there banging gears. Not that setting the times. So I mean, fuck, how many people have even shifted into the 7s? Really, it's not a whole lot of them.
Nowadays, yeah.
I mean, maybe it's getting to be more common,
the
but
6s is now the new 7s.
okay,
And like you mentioned, it has become a little bit of money deal.
yeah,
But it's good to. I know I mentioned it to you before. Like we'll go out and I'll take you out and so you can see some of the stuff that we do now. But there's a lot of I would say like smart people out there that make the most with the little bit they got. You know
right,
what I
yeah,
mean?
for sure.
So that's
There's-
definitely pleasing to watch.
There's definitely still that side of it, but to me, and like I said, it's nothing against them. And I'm sure there's way more skill than I'm giving it credit for. It's just that I've never done it.
I wouldn't say the driving part. Probably not.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest.
My hero of drag racing is that video from like 14 years ago. The Mexican dude watching Telemundo.
Oh, the Sentra,
fucking
dude,
banging gears
yes.
against a Porsche.
The Porsche,
Oh, that's
the
my
Mexican
hero.
dude with the hat like this, and
Yes.
he just banging. You never seen that?
I think I have.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
dude, it's
Telemundo on
great.
the fucking radio screen, bro.
Oh, yeah. It's
yeah,
great.
That's my dude right there.
Is
That's my hero of the drag.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you and I have discussed. So you want to do like some autocross and some road racing with the Corvette, but you had also mentioned getting a little sideways in it.
I really do want to learn drifting. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know how to. I'm just that dumbass that you'll see in your local town where you're like, oh, that guy just slid into the road. He doesn't know his own car. No, I did it on purpose. I'm just fucking retarded. So, but yeah, I do that all the time. If it's like a late night and I know the road, I will sling around some turns if it doesn't have a deep ditch. So, but I've never had like a hydraulic brake or any of that shit. You know what I
No,
mean?
you don't
Like,
need that stuff.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm
Yeah.
I'm definitely like the newest of new, but it is something that I want to learn, and I know that the Corvette is a very good car to learn it on.
Oh, it's a fantastic chassis.
It's like the platform.
Like I said, I've done some drifting before. I had like my second 240 was SR swapped. It wasn't really overly built, but I had some really good suspension on it. I saw it stock angle in it, and I watched a bunch of videos, read some stuff, and like the first thing and the best thing that you need is a good seat and a good steering wheel and a like. Even if you got to weld that diff, I mean, you don't have to worry about that.
Right.
But my 240 was a fantastic drift car. I mean, just beating it off the rev limiter. You know, it was an SR, which, I mean, there are some people that are SR till they die, and there are other people that are like, no, it's a piece of crap. Just, you know, I liked it. I'm not like an SR until I die guy. And my original plan with my Laurel was to turn it into a drift car. And then I just kept pouring money into it and pouring money into it and pouring money into it. And then I was like, oh man, this would be an awesome drift car. And then I realized, like, oh, if I like even put a dent in this thing somewhere, I'm never going to find a replacement part.
Yeah, it's too clean.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. So
those things are half Bondo these days.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like if you find a 240, it's
magnets don't stick.
Yeah. Like there's I would love to see what a numbers matching 240 goes for.
Right.
Like holy crap. But
we'll have to get for the vet. We'll have to get together because in Topeka they have at Harlan Park they have that drift. This Saturday I was sitting in a car there and they had the whole day. Drag racing ended and the cars were still drifting. It never stopped.
Yep.
And we also have a couple customers that came here with drift cars, and like Brody can probably help us out, like to get you in a car and like teach you some stuff because he's a nut about that stuff. Like, and he's actually really good.
Who is he? The one that had that E36?
Yeah.
God, that car was cool.
With an LS swap.
Oh man, that
He
thing
did a really good
that was
job.
a sweet E36.
Yeah, he came here to get it tuned and whatnot, and he was like, dude, if you're ever into drift or anything like that, like, let's do it. So, yeah.
I mean, I'd love to do it, but with my inner ear damage and the fact that I get, like, vertigo turning a corner too fast, like, I'm pretty sure, like, my drifting days are over.
Yeah.
But
so half the time, if you just show up to a drift event at Heartland Park, they will literally walk around with a spare helmet. And they'll be like, who wants to ride along?
Yeah.
And they'll teach you as they're going. Like
You'll learn by just being
I did
there.
like 3 ride-alongs in one day.
I've watched a few things. So honestly, before I got the Corvette, I had priced together a sim rig and like done.
I want a sim rig so bad.
Yeah, and I mean, I was looking at I was staring down the barrel of about a $20,000 sim rig. Like once it's all said and done, direct drive wheels, all of the shifters and a custom made the frame to hold like a bucket seat with a motor cockpit, so like I was really gonna dive all in, and then I was just like, or I could just get a fucking car. So I it was one or the other at the time, and it still might be something I get into because
you can get a pretty decent sim rig now because direct drive wheels are a lot cheaper
than they were.
A lot cheaper. And really, really, really good. You can probably get into one because I already know you have a pretty good desktop.
Yeah.
So you could get into one for probably less than $2,000 without trying real hard.
It's definitely still. I mean, that all depends on this NSX, honestly. NSX is going to dictate a lot of what happens in the near future to me.
On how much ramen you have to eat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And which I'm willing to do.
Yeah, but you know what's cool is like we got a guy here who's a veteran. He's been in combat. He has as far as I know, a really good job, and he's able to afford all these things, so like just having that, you went through what it seems like a hard time transitioning as well, like you were scared about it and whatnot. But here you are, you're talking about, I mean, you're building a vet, you have a S550, you want to buy an NSX. Yeah. So like things are not bad. You see what I'm saying? It could be a lot worse.
There's definitely some green grass, once you get out there. I was dealing with some some mental shit too, you know what I mean? So it was a big drop off because I'd just been walking on this plateau so long, and then I was just like there was nothing under me but air.
Yep.
So it did take me some time to adjust, but it's not all doom and gloom, and the Army really it sets you up in a lot of ways, and there's a lot of resources. I mean, just USA jobs alone. I mean, if you're rated by the VA veteran, well, obviously you will be, but if you're rated by the VA, I mean, you get 10 points immediately over anybody else applying for those jobs.
Yeah.
So, it's just and then you go right back to work, and it's an environment, and it's people that have a similar line of thinking a lot of times, and
a lot of veterans with you probably.
Yeah, most everybody I work with are veterans,
That's
the place I ended up at is a lot of people's end goal, it's
so the brotherhood kind of sticks around, huh?
To a degree. It's just they're a little bit older of a brotherhood. Most of these guys are like retired and 40s and stuff like that.
What are you trying to say, bro?
saying a bunch of fucking lose. No, I'm just- but it's not the best place to make friends, you know, with similar interests because you're like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm doing this with my kids and my wife, and you're like, oh yeah, you're all like fucking.
Oh, so you don't want to go look at an NSX with
Yeah, exactly. So, but at the same time, that's because I work at a regional network place. So like we run like the whole Midwest, and it's just getting worse and worse, and I fucking hate my life. But that's something else entirely. Work is good. The people are good. Yeah, and the Army definitely, that was not somewhere that I was headed before I joined the Army. I was headed to jail straight up. There was no other place I was going. So.
And how many contracts did you do? What ended up being like 2? Okay, yeah. So if you were, say, at the end of your first contract, would you ever thought that you would have been at this job right now, or you wouldn't be like, oh, that would be great, or?
The end of my first contract?
Yeah, were you just at that time like thinking about like I'm staying in for a while?
I wasn't doing a whole lot of thinking.
Okay.
End of my first contract, I was focused on keeping my career moving. I had a couple ideas of what I wanted to do. I was going to be like SF, airborne, yada.
Everybody.
Didn't work out.
I think at some point everybody in uniform goes, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. Well, then I snapped my fucking ankle, and then I snapped my fucking shoulder, and I mean, I tried. I went, but I failed out, got injured, did my normal guy thing. It is what it is. But at least I tried, so.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, for sure.
But,
yeah, I tried too. Yeah, I enlisted to do the whole SF thing, and then realized, like, I'm doing push-ups in a creek in 19-degree weather, and I'm peeing on myself to stay warm.
Yeah.
And the guy next to me goes, "Did you just pee?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, I couldn't hold it." And he looks me square in the face while we're doing push-ups.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Don't worry about it. It was warm. I'll go next." And I was happy about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, "What the hell am I doing with my life right now?"
Yeah.
No, the Army will put you in some situations.
Yeah. So I was like, this is not for me.
I've definitely been back to back in one sleeping bag with a guy because we were freezing our ass off.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
And I was just.
Oh, man, in basic training, I was happy my battle buddy was fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like 130 pounds soaking wet.
Get on over here, Bubba.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's you get put, but then again, you develop friendships like you won't anywhere else.
And that's another thing that like I've tried to explain to people is like I have relationships with people, especially guys that I've been in combat with, that like do I talk to them every day? No.
Right.
Like, but they in a lot of ways are closer than my own brothers are.
Exactly.
Because you and I have done some stuff that is just so out of the realm of normal,
Right.
Ordinary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, no, I mean, it's one of those situations where it's like, your wife and your mom are like, I know him the best, and your best friends are back there like, yeah, I don't know him at all, dude.
Yeah.
I do not know who the fuck that guy is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's cool. Well, guys, I want to thank you for coming here and on the podcast.
yeah.
Really, it was a lot of fun, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, the promise of industrial lube is what got me in here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Can't wait. Here's my prize. Bring me the jar.
But yeah, thank you, John. We'll see you on the next podcast. Make sure. We're sponsored by Streetcar Salsa.
Streetcar Salsa, baby.
Yeah. Do you even know Weaver?
Yeah.
You know who that is?
Chief, yeah.
Oh yeah. So he's gonna be here in the
That
podcast.
stuff is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. So
Yeah.
if you need some salsa, I'm gonna put the link here in the description below. Just order yourself some salsa. It's really good stuff.
It is really good.
And he's Babe, veteran, and this guy puts a lot of effort into it.
He does.
He's a
Hear
pretty
the
cool guy.
accent, so he knows the salsa.
Yeah, sí, bueno salsa. So,
All right.
well, here is Orlando Ortego. We're gonna say
Ortego.
He
bye now.
knows his salsa.
All right, guys, thank you for watching.
Yeah.
See you in
Let's
the
go
next
buy
one.
an NSX, dude.
Yeah. I'm down.
Yeah.